Today, our question at issue is, should disclaimers be placed on altered photographs of women in an attempt to decrease the amount of eating disorders? We realize that this is an important issue to address. However, disclaimers would not make the significant difference that we would like to see in the amount of eating disorders in women. First of all, the only thing that disclaimers would essentially do is inform us that the image that we are viewing is false. Randy Cohen, a writer for the New York Times, said that the idea of disclaimers on altered photographs erroneously assumes that simply knowing that an image is falsified immunizes you from its effect. Even if we know that an image is fake, we are still affected by it. But why exactly? Today I want to go over one important reason why images affect us even though we know they are fake, and thereby making disclaimers unhelpful. And that reason is because society is not framed around the realistic. We do not aspire for the realistic. What we aspire for is the ideal and desirable. A boy named Mike on NaviBlue.com, after seeing the movie Avatar, stated that he was depressed because he wanted to live in a world similar to the one in the movie. He wanted to be one of the blue-skinned people that he saw in the movie. Hundreds of others were just like Mike. They were depressed because they wanted what was in that movie. Now, if we were to put a disclaimer on the movie Avatar stating that the images in it were fake, would that decrease the amount of depressed individuals? Well, no, of course not, because we know that those images in the movie are fake. We know that they are generated from a computer. And yet, hundreds of people still aspired for that image even though they knew it was fake. Likewise, even though we know the images in magazines are fake, we still aspire for those images because they are what are deemed as desirable and ideal. So our society has labeled thinness as the ideal. It is apparent that our society is placing a heavy emphasis on this ideal thin image because that is what TV ads and magazines are displaying. Also, the magazines that display extremely thin models are the ones that consumers are buying. Anna North, a writer for the website Jezebel, stated that digital manipulation is what people want to buy. She also stated that an editor for the Cosmo magazine named Kate White said that when they placed a heavier set celebrity on the cover of a magazine, those magazines did not sell as well as the ones that displayed thin models. Therefore, we can see that since we are buying the magazines that display the thin models, that is what our society has made ideal and desirable. So in the end, all disclaimers would do is inform us that those images that are altered are fake. But this would not make a significant difference in the amount of eating disorders among women because our society is shaped around ideal and desirable rather than realistic. Furthermore, we are affected by these images whether we know they are fake or not. If we want to decrease the number of eating disorders among women, another solution must be found.
I'm Jake Steele, and I'm going to tell you today why warning labels cannot be put on photoshopped images. This is because the line between what is photoshopped and what is enhanced is too subjective. Labels are justified on images if what was photoshopped can be proven as harmful. We don't know what is harmful, so we don't know what to label. Let me explain. Virtually every picture in the media is digitally altered. Some pictures are brightened, sharpened, or blurred. Others remove hair that was out of place in the photo shoot, delete pimples that are not normally there, or even we whiten the teeth, change the eye color, apply makeup, remove weight, widen the eyes, or adjust the chest. What techniques are enhancing the photo? What techniques are photoshopping the image? Better said, what techniques are harmful and to the extent that the image needs to be labeled as harmful? I do not know this answer. I do not believe that we, in a room, could come to a consensus. Even the Photoshop industry can't come to a consensus on the difference between what is enhanced and what is Photoshopped. A great example of this is the Dove Company. In 2006, they released a 1-minute video called The Dove Evolution. The point of the YouTube was to show the world how much media changes the look of women to make them attractive. The YouTube quickly became viral with tens of millions of hits. Tons of people wrote Dove saying things like, quote, "Thank you, Dove, for exposing it like it is." End of quote. Shortly after, Dove created a campaign called Real Beauty. The goal of the campaign was to show off realistic women. Dove became the leader in promoting healthy women, and people from all around the world felt like they finally had a company on their side. Later, a designer who worked on the Real Beauty campaign told the New Yorker, quote, "Do you know how much retouching was done on the Dove campaign? But it was great to do. A challenge to keep everyone's skin and face showing the mileage but not looking unattractive." In response, a spokesman for the ad agency responsible for the campaign said that, quote, "There was no retouching of the women. If there was a hair that was up in the air, that might have been the kind of retouching that was done." End of quote. Two professionals in the same industry, in the same company, and on the same project can't decide on what was done. If they can't determine on what was done, how can a third party determine what is harmful? So, if we give Dove the benefit of doubt and say that all they did was retouch the hair, then we pose the question, should we put a label on the Real Beauty campaign? Is what Dove did considered harmful? Warning labels should not be put on Photoshopped images because Photoshopped images aren't the issue. The real issue deals with proportions. Stylist.com asked readers, was the Dove Real Beauty campaign Photoshopped? 26.8% said obviously. 49.9% said probably. That's a 76.7% of people believing that the images that the Dove campaign used were altered. Why do we praise Dove in their efforts when the majority of people believe there was some type of alteration? It is because we as people aren't bothered with Dove cleaning up an image. We are not bothered with Photoshop. What we are bothered with is dangerous proportions. In fact, if we look again at the common alterations made by Photoshop, we realize that those same alterations can be made without Photoshop. We are not objecting to Photoshop. What we are objecting is to dangerous proportions. We want warning labels to protect our girls from that, a very legitimate concern. But if we rely on warning labels to protect us, we will have false hope. Dangerous proportions is an issue far deeper, far different than Photoshop. It has been around longer and will remain regardless of the labels we put on pictures. Don't rely on false hope. Warning labels are not the answer.